and tell us exactly what we're going to do, Diraj, because you're the instructor on this one.
Sure, sure. So let me share my screen. And today, what we are going to do, we are going to use like AI, especially like Google Nano Banana, and learn how to create automated thumbnails for your YouTube channel. The same concept can be applied to your, Substack covers as well. So I have like both the pipelines. One is fine tuned for Substack cover, other one is for YouTube thumbnails, and now I don't need like some sort of a designer. And almost like 95% of the times, the just pipeline of N8N completely works, right? And at the end, I would also share some tips that if you have to migrate this N8N workflow into a cloud scale, how you can do that. So that's what we can go through in today's session. So let me share my screen, and then I can share like how basically we are going to go through it and what does it mean first of all, right? So in order to start with it, you can see my screen, right?
I do. I see a beautiful picture, and now I see the 5-stage thumbnail pipeline, which is perfect.
Right. So this is what we are going to go through. So what I have done is in my NA10, I have like this 5-stage pipeline, I call it. And what happens is it starts with Google Sheets for me, let's suppose, right? Uh, Personally, I have integrated into my content OS. So this step is more or less redundant for me. But like just for demo purpose, we would start with Google Sheets where we would have some video IDs that are videos which I have uploaded onto the YouTube channel. And why? It is coming from YouTube channel, and you might be thinking that hey, thumbnail is not yet generated, so why the YouTube video is there? So the reason behind it is that the whole pipeline works on the transcript, right? So either you can feed the transcript locally generated, or what you can do is you can use YouTube itself to create that transcript of your video and then use the automatically generated transcript in this pipeline. So what I do in general is I would create, record, edit my video, upload it to YouTube in an unlisted status. So when it is unlisted status, it is not published. It is there in YouTube. YouTube can process it. YouTube can create the entire transcript automatically for you, and then you can download the transcript. So the first thing that we have is queue, where all my video IDs of unlisted videos are there. Their status is unlisted, not published yet. So that's the first thing. The second thing, what I do is then I'll pick up the ID one at a time, and I'll going to use a API to download the automatically generated transcript and do this ASR cleanup. So ASR is like this automatic speech recognition. When YouTube does it, there is noise that gets generated. For example, something like NA10, it would be spelled as NAT or N10. In many spelling mistakes. So the script does the cleanup of the spellings. Once we are ready with it, this is where the AI comes into in the stage 3, where we have this SEO brain, where we use Gemini 3 Pro, but you can use Claude and others as well. This is where it understands the entire video transcript and come up with video context or thumbnail context of it, right? That what kind of thumbnail would be better for this kind of video. So once we have the context, we create a prompt, image prompt using the context from the transcript that AI has created. And then we are going to basically, like over here in this fourth one, that is what we are doing. We are using our brand rules. We are utilizing the poses that we have defined, that what kind of pose I would like to have as a person of myself or my avatar. So I have this pose library, like, feeling shocked, feeling, uh, pointing it excitingly. So there are like 12, 13 poses that I have defined that AI can pick up from, and the brand rules like what colors, what backgrounds, and all that, right? After that, there is this reference images, which is like the background. If you want a fixed background, you can input that, or like your own image or your avatar image, right? If you are creating Substack covers for using similar pipeline. So once you have created this thumbnail prompt, finally, what we would do is we would feed it into the image pipeline, which is where Google Nano Banana Pro would generate the image, or Nano Banana 2 nowadays would generate the image or thumbnail for us, and then we are going to like just upload it into our Google Drive. So that's what we are going to do. And I'll walk you through each and every node of N8N, how it is configured, how it works.
Okay. This is a lot of nodes. You know, when I first looked at this, I said, hey, it would be quicker for me to just do these steps manually. But then again, if you do this on a regular basis, this actually ends up being much faster.
Yes. I'll tell you my experience. Like when I would create a thumbnail, I would like do all these steps. Used to do all these steps, and then like the creativity part would used to take more time. Like
Mhm.
working with the ChatGPT or Claude, like what kind of creative angle I need to have on the YouTube and thumbnail. And then like it's more like okay, that's one piece, but the other piece is also I want to like make it always consistent, right? It cannot be like one thumbnail is looking like this, the other one is other one is looking like that. So I need to have that brand consistency too throughout my thumbnail feed. And that's when what would happen is like partially it would be done with AI, and then partially it would be done in Canva, right? So I would say that every time I would spend about 30 to 40 minutes just figuring it out, what thumbnail is needed. And you know, because I do it as like a kind of, it's not my full-time thing, so I'm always playing a catch-up game. Video is ready, everything is ready, but what about the thumbnail is not ready by the time I have to publish.
Yep.
So that's where like I started thinking, and the moment Nano Banana came in to play last year, like things changed a lot. I mean, nowadays, like it's just like I don't even think about much. Of course, like the pipeline that I'm going to like show you is not like 100% accurate. It is still AI driven, right? So it is not going to be always generating the thumbnails as expected, I would say. I mean, in a way that it's not 100% accurate, but it is 90% there. So at the worst case, what I have to do is regenerate the thumbnail. That's all it takes. Just a click and 2 minutes, I would have like a um, newly created thumbnail of a different format or different pose. And in case my appearance is not up to the mark, again, we just run the pipeline and it would recreate it in a better way. So that's all it takes now, 4 to 5 minutes maximum, even if there is an iteration.
Okay, so you're not going back and changing instructions and things like that. You just run it again and it gives you a better result. Okay.
Yes, that's all I do.
Okay. So this looks like, a lot to set up. What is the setup time on something like this for somebody who's not really used N8N before? You need an account, right? And is
Yeah.
it free? There's a free version and a paid version. Is that right?
Yes. So if somebody has not used N10, it would require them to set up N10 first. And setup is fairly easy. So there is this cloud version where you can pay like 24 bucks a month and use it, just register and get started like in 5 minutes. But then there is this free version which you can host locally on your system. You can install it. It's a community edition. It takes about like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to install it maximum, I would say. And then you have to follow some registration process, like user details and email and all, and you're up and running in like 10 minutes or so. I think like in my entire I have a video as well on my YouTube channel that basically does it in like 8 minutes, I think. Like the entire setup. So under 10 minutes you are up and running. It's free. But once you are there in it, the one thing about N10 is that it's visual in nature. So if you have basics sorted out of N10, if you have never used N8N, then of course, definitely you would have to learn basics of N8N. Then only you will be able to do it. Otherwise, the best option is that you have this workflow from somewhere, like either let's suppose we share it. Then it's basically you just download it, upload it. That's all. Like you come over here, you get this import you from URL, import from a file. This gets installed or imported into your workspace of N8N after you have done the installation. Then you would just have to set up the credentials for each and everything. So for example, I have a Google Sheet node over here, so I have to like authenticate, authorize it. So you have to basically do that. Same for YouTube video or YouTube, the Google Drive. So it requires some sort of a setup at the starting, but this setup is not just for this thumbnail, right? It is going
It's
to help you with other things as well in future.
it's the access, yeah,
Yes.
you're giving the
So that is
access. So, are we
definitely.
sharing this, workflow or
Yeah, yeah.
is
I
it
mean, like we'll
yeah,
be happy to share the workflow. Yeah, and like if people want like exactly the one that I use, I can share that as well. But like this is more like a curtailed down version of like what I use, but everything is there. You can just run it through and install it and start using it as you want. Of course, like the prompting, you might have to adjust a bit. I'll show where you can adjust as per your needs. It's more like branding needs, but out of the box, it is going to work for you,
okay.
right? Okay. So again, the thumbnail pipeline that I discussed, it's like similar. So I can go through like this is right now working on a click. Like when I click on this execute button at the bottom, then it's going to run. But you can have like other triggers as well in N8N, which is like working on a schedule. You can have like a webhook kind of a thing. For example, for my production workflow, I have integrated it using my content OS and the workflow. So it just sends the command to it, and then like it executes. So you can have like different types of entry points. Currently we have a manual entry point over here. So the other thing I was talking about, the queue, right? So the first phase was queue. So what we have done is we have this Google Sheet where like all these IDs are maintained, and then there is this status column in which you would have like scheduled, new upload, and thumbnail creator, right? So, I mean, like three statuses, plain and simple, that we are maintaining in this example workflow. Again, feel free to like adopt it to your own needs, whosoever is like replicating it. Then, column is status. We are filtering on new upload. That's the so you can see, Carrie, that it's not like I would say like complex to understand. As soon as you open up a configuration, you can see like what you need to do. I was talking about the setup part. You can see like this is my account that is set up, but if somebody has to create a new credential, you have to follow like this documentation as well that people can follow. And once they have the Google Sheets set up once in their account for N8N, like, or in their setup in N8N, that's pretty much it, right? They don't need to like reset again for each and every workflow. So that stays with them for other workflows as well. Right? So, and everything else is like pretty much self-explanatory. So that's the whole advantage of people started jumping on N8N, started learning, as it made the automation very, very visual, very fluid. Similarly, when AI nodes came into play, it just exploded, right? So this is like plain simple node of Google Sheet. That's what I have added. Then what I'm doing is limiting. So I don't want like all of them to come. So let me just run it. So if I open this again, I'll just going to execute this step. So behind the scenes, it is all code, right? So right now it basically fetched one row over here, and with the status of new upload, right? Now let's go ahead, and here what I'm saying is that if there are more fields returned, like for example, you can see that here 5 items are returned. So right now it is just showing me schema, but if I click on this JSON, you can see all 5 records have come from our Google Sheet, which are there. So all these 5 rows that had new upload status are showing here, but I want to like create one at a time. So that's why I'm limiting only one, which is the first item. So let's suppose we limit one. Now this is the YouTube node that you can add. In the YouTube node, again, what we are, you have to create a new credential over here. If you have set up the one of the Google credential, this becomes very easy because this is also a Google product, so it becomes very easy to set up again. So once you have set up your credentials here, you would select that. Then in the resource, we have to select the video. Because we are working on a video, we have to fetch the video. So that's the get operation. And this is the video ID that we have dragged and dropped over here. And in the fields, we want all the fields to come. So you can basically select, like, what kind of fields you want of the video to come, but we have selected all. So I'm going to like execute this. This is going to like provide us like all the fields that are there in the video. And then basically now we have fetched the video. We are going to like test whether it is an unlisted video or not. That's what I was telling, that we have to upload the video, and in case the video is unlisted, then we are going to get the transcription. If the video is not unlisted, it is not going to come. So we are not going to waste on the transcription part of it. So if I, let's suppose, execute this, so here condition is like privacy status should be equals to unlisted. If I execute this there, it will go over here that it is not unlisted. So in this example, what I have done is I have connected the false node over here because this video is already uploaded on my channel, right? So it is not going to be unlisted because I don't
Right.
have like pending queue. So that's why, like, just for this video, this demo purpose, I have connected the false. But in general, you are going to connect the true branch over here. So you can see this plus sign. So you just drag it and connect it to the next node. So that way, true branch is also going in there. Then you can disconnect the false branch from by deleting this. But for this demo, like, let's connect the false branch. We'll just, execute this one now.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the transcript will only come over if it's unlisted.
Yes.
So if Substack automatically, like, let's say you do a live and Substack automatically sends it over to YouTube, that is not going to be unlisted. So you need to go in and change that manually. Is that correct?
Yes, then you need to go in and change the status to unlisted. Substack provides, I think, two option when it automatically publish it. Once it either publishes in like publish mode, which goes out to your subscribers, or it also like save it in draft mode. So even if it is in draft mode, what would happen is that the YouTube is going to create the transcript behind the scenes, right? After some time, it takes like about 30-40 minutes to create it, depending upon like how long the video is. So for me, generally, like the videos are like 30 minutes plus 25 minutes plus, some are 40 minutes. So it takes about like to me 30 to 40 minutes to get my transcript, the automatic transcript. But then, like, what happens is that because we are outside YouTube, right? So we are not going to able to access it from our N8N instance because
Mm.
that is right now in draft mode of your personal account. So that's where you would have to make it unlisted. So the moment you make it unlisted, it becomes publicly available only to people who have the URL. If the URL is not there, like, then like people cannot see it. There is no notification that goes out that you have uploaded a new video to your subscribers. So that's why, like, this whole thing uses the unlisted way of doing it. I mean, see, it's like I'm taking advantage of, in this case, YouTube's transcription, right? But let's suppose Substack is already transcribing it. If you have to automate it, then you would have to upload it somewhere, right? And then like fetch that transcript, and then you don't need all this stuff, right? So you can customize this workflow as per your own needs. For example, in my own personal use case, I don't even like use all these steps, because what I do is when I edit the video, I use the script. There is a transcript of it as well, but then like I upload the video directly into my content OS, where local transcription happens on my local machine, and then ASR noise also gets removed. All I do is once that transcript is available, that gets uploaded into a Google Drive, and then like my workflow is connected to the Google Drive without this transcription. But not everyone
Wow.
would have that kind of setup. That's why I created this workflow in a way that anyone can use, using the free YouTube transcription that is available out there. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me just ask you this. So you said backing up just the Substack, you do a live. Substack asks you a question at the end of that live when you sign off. Do you want this to be published? And then you could do yes, publish or save as draft. When it saves as a draft, that draft goes over to YouTube and it saves the video as a draft on YouTube. Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
Right,
Yes.
right, right. But then, like, it won't be accessible over here, right? So, in order to
Yes.
make it accessible to your N10, you have to change the status to like unlisted
That's it.
and wait for it to create the transcript, like YouTube to create the transcript. Once that is done, you can like, then the general flow that I used to follow earlier was once the transcript is generated, I would add that workflow over here as new, sorry, that video over here as new upload. So
Yeah.
now it is over here. Then I'm going to like come here and execute this workflow. It is going to fetch that and fetch the YouTube data because it is unlisted. Check it is unlisted. And then like if you look at this one, if I execute this, I'll come to it like what it is. It is going to like get or fetch the title. Like for example, this is the title, how to connect Cloud Code to Chrome, step-by-step tutorial. And you can see like all these languages, the transcription is available. Length is like this many seconds. And then like if I keep on scrolling down, this is like the whole transcript with start and end. Right. But at the end, like if I just scroll down at the bottom, there is one field where the whole transcript is there. So this is like the whole transcript, right, of the video.
Yeah.
So that's basically like why we need to have it unlisted so that I can use this API. So YouTube transcriptor API. Again, this is like I'm using something called Rapid API as a platform which provides you to fetch YouTube transcripts video. You can also use Google APIs as well, but I see it like pretty straightforward. So I use this Rapid APIs, YouTube transcriptor API that gives me the transcript, and it is also free. I mean, in terms of like it provides, I think 50 or 100 requests, which is more than enough per month for me, right? Even if like I have to do it like couple of times or 3 times per video. I generally publish 6 to 8 videos a month. So 50 to 100 is more than enough for me, unless like I'm doing some sort of a bulk operation. So this gives me like free transcript fetching. Basic details are here. Like once you have the credentials and all, you have to set up. Again, this credential part is something that would require someone who is not on N8N to go through this, initial foundational setup, and is going to like be time taking for sure, right? But again, like if somebody wants
Yeah.
to do it, I would say it's worth it if you are exploring N8N. I even have like 47 lesson free course on the channel. Anyone can watch it, very detailed. So if like somebody wants to learn about N8N, how all these things are like configured, the credentials are created. So this is the investment carry in this case. Like, your time is more invested into setting up
Yeah.
N8N. And that's why I said that I'll also talk about how we can like migrate such a thing into a Cloud Code skill and use Cloud Code skill in place of N8N as well.
Yeah, that would be something to test. So sometimes though, right now I'm seeing this as okay, as a solo creator, I like to limit the number of tools and logins that I have. Um, so I could just bypass this like you said, and instead of, having it call to YouTube, get the transcript, I could just put it in a Google Doc, the transcript, right? Or is
Yes.
it a sheet?
Yes, yes, you can do that, right? So then in that case, instead of like this node where we are fetching the transcript from a live video or like an unlisted video, what you would do is you will come over here in the plus icon. You would just search for Google Docs. This one, right? So this is the node of Google Doc, and you would say like get document, and then like basically you put the URL of it or ID of it, or you can put the ID over here. Like there would be n number of ways you can configure the overall design of it. You can put the article link, right? So suppose this is the video ID, you put the article link of your Google Drive over here, where you have uploaded the transcript. Then it is going to basically come and fetch it from there. You can also, what you can also do is you can add another column to the sheet and call it like transcript. So if Substack has created that transcript, just paste it into this column, right? And then like you are already fetching this sheet. If I go back over here, right? So you are fetching all the details of the video. So what would happen is that with this SEO description, there will be like a transcript field also coming up, right? So in that case, you can get rid of like all these steps.
Yeah.
So that's like a manual way for a solopreneur. But as a manual step, but I mean, it's totally worth it if you want to like reduce all this complexity or,
Well,
you know.
it does come down to certain questions, like, it's a lot to keep track of if you're having a separate file for each transcript, or if you're putting it in that little box on the spreadsheet, it becomes really I mean, to put a
Like,
whole transcript in there
yeah,
becomes
not
really
readable.
clunky.
Yeah, not readable, but carry like you don't care, right? I mean, in terms of
You don't
this,
care.
this is like a dumping ground for you for the transcript. You are not going to come back over here and read the transcript, right? So so that ways I think it's totally fair to put the transcript over here as well.
Okay. Alright.
And
I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. So I mean, then in that case, like you get rid of these, in the pipeline or the logic, you get rid of these some of these notes.
Yep.
So the next step, like I said, as a second step, I have this basic code, very simple piece of code that is going to replace, for example, NA10. If it finds any of these incorrect spellings in the transcript, it is going to replace it with NA10. And similarly, if you want to add like something like, for example, Azure, you can just add it in this way. So, for example, if you are seeing like similar words that are being incorrectly figured out by the ASR, then basically you can keep on adding, and this script is going to clean the transcript for you. And once you execute it, it is going to basically provide us the result about it. So it's basically a clean transcript that we have got. Now, from this perspective, okay, something happened, I think. Let me execute this. Somehow it's not working. Okay, did I do something? All right. So somehow it's not producing the result. Sorry, the camera would have gone. Let me execute the entire thing and see. Okay. This time it got it. Probably some, temporary issue that was there. So this time it got the transcript. Now what it is doing is it is in this step, it is basically this is where the brain is, right? That I was explaining. So this
Yeah.
step is basically below is the transcript. So this is like a simple user prompt. And here we are pasting the transcript. But if I open up the system prompt over here, you can see like what we are doing is we are basically saying that I want to have SEO and discoverability. So create the title and description in a way that it is optimized for it. Then it is also talking about some of the brand voice rules. Again, anyone can configure on their own terms. Headline text generation, again, some rules are there, what to follow, what to avoid. Secondary text rules like the if you want to have like headline and just below it some kind of a text, what rules to follow. Then some rules for title, description, what kind of tags I want, the hashtags, and this is the thumbnail context, right? So all that information is like the metadata for the YouTube video. Because it is unlisted right now, I would need that kind of data as well. I would need like title, I would need the description. So that's basically serving that purpose. But then like this is the thumbnail context which says what is the title, what is the content that is promising in 4 words. So auto sales bot, right? Something like that. This is just an example, right? Then relevant tools which are mentioned, for example, NA10 is mentioned, Slack, Airtable. So that ways the model knows that I want to generate these icons for this in the thumbnail, right? Then we have content type, then we have status, then we have secondary text suggestions, or some additional context around what is the visual metaphor, whether it's like more like assembly line kind of a thing, manual chaos, automated system. So this is where the main brain is of this whole, like this is where the creativity is happening, right? So you are leveraging AI to 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 get that creative angle for your thumbnail. And finally, at the bottom, there are some constraints. So so basically, this is like the prompt, and as you can see, like what it has done is like it has given me the title, description, tags as an output. And then like now it is saying that before state was like kind of a manual chaos, the after state is automated, a robot arm operating a Chrome browser window directly from VS Code terminal. That's the metaphor it has come up with. And control your browser and fix bugs automatically straight from the terminal. That's the thumbnail hook it is telling. Like this is the creative angle that it has produced, which I would be doing manually in like my earlier life, when I have to uh, create this whole thumbnail in Canva.
Yeah. So should let's say I'm using this, should I go in and edit any of this?
Yes, I would say like I would recommend most of this, like 80% of this would stay same, right? But for example, like brand rules, you would definitely be editing some of the brand rules that are there. Maybe like the tone, you want to edit the value, the band words, right? If you want to add some more things, you should be adding it. Right now, for example, the examples right now is more technical. So if someone is like technical, they can use it, right? I have tested it on my travel channel as well. It works, right? Because what is happening is it is just treating it as an example. So it is going to work. But earlier, when you have like 2 3 generations done, you would come to know what kind of things it is like suiting you or not suiting you, and you can fine tune. But it is taking you there 80 to 90%, you are already there. Basic fine tuning is all is required.
Okay. So for myself, I could either go in manually and make the changes, or I have Claude set up so that it knows me 100%, knows my brand, everything, my brand colors. I could
Right.
run this through Claude and
Absolutely.
ask it to update it with my brand colors, my brand information,
That would
everything.
be the perfect case of leveraging AI the right way, I would say. You
I
just dump it over there
hey,
and
I'm all about the time savings, but then I feel like you have to read it really carefully afterwards because it might have done something strange.
right, right.
Yeah,
But then, like, you test it out, see if the output is getting produced as per your expectation. That's fine. And then, like, what I do is, like, sometimes it does not generate. I dump like the entire output of all the nodes. Like in the earlier days when I was fine tuning myself, I would dump everything. I would put it into Claude. I would put the image in the Claude as well that it has generated and ask it that, hey, what do you see? What is wrong? What am I missing? How can
yeah,
I improve it? And it would help me fine tune the entire prompt over a period of time.
absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the perfect way of doing it.
Okay.
Right. So now we have the idea of thumbnail, like the brief or the context, the creativity. What we are going to do is like we are going to like just simplify. So earlier, like a lot of things were coming, right? Before this node, you would see like a lot of details are here. So this is like something called set node that helps you extract only the relevant information that you need for rest of the workflow. So it's like just basic cleanup thing that we are doing over here. No logical stuff. All I care is like content title, content description, content outcome promise, which is like Cloud Code automation, relevant app, content type, again, and then like content type is tutorial, content additional context we just, went through. So I just extracted only the relevant fields. I don't care about like the title or description or hashtags or keywords at this moment. So what I can do is for all those things, I can basically, you know, sorry I can basically, create a new branch and maybe like update the YouTube video itself. Like I would add this node here and let me just copy and show you what could be the advantage. Like for example, I just duplicate this and then I connect it over here. I open this, and instead of now get, I would say like update, right? So now I have the title, description, and all these fields I can keep on adding because I have generated it using AI. In this node, I can feed that over here as a separate branch. But that's not like basically the purpose of today's video. So I just ignored that and I just fetched only the information that is basically required for our thumbnail creation. So once we have that information, then this is where the
Uh,
thumbnail prompt is getting created. Yeah, sorry.
oh, sorry, I need to back up to that step we were just on. So you said you gave an example of we could pull the YouTube again and create just a separate node that updates it. What kind of information are we updating it with? Could you
Yeah.
put the SEO and the tags and everything
Yes.
there?
Yes. So
Yeah,
for example, like this particular node outputted thumbnail context. So we are interested in only thumbnail context, right? But
yeah,
there is this tags, hashtags, description, as well as title, right? So the AI has already done the hard work for you of figuring out what title people would resonate to, like and it's like SEO optimized. The second one is like the description, what you would want, and because your video is unlisted right now, you would have to figure out what title it would have, what description it would have, right? Especially like if you are creating exclusively the YouTube video only, not like importing anything from Substack, right? Or Substack Live. Then in that case, it's you already have like some sort of a title understanding to you, but description you still have to add for discoverability purposes. So in that case, because we have done or we are having all this information, either you can save this, for example, in the sheet itself, like I have this column title and description. So you can go ahead and because you have generated it using AI, you can save this information and maybe there is an another N8N workflow that updates it. Or I would prefer that I create a separate branch from here and update this information right away into my YouTube video, which is
yeah.
unlike
That's what I would prefer.
right.
I'm not gonna. I'm trying to end copying pasting.
Yes. Yes. So that
Yeah,
so that is also getting automated right in this workflow itself, right? So it's like serving dual purpose for you.
yeah,
Right? So and then because like we are not demoing that part, but I just showed like how it can be quickly done as just like adding a simple YouTube node and creating updates around that. We filtered the thumbnail part of it. So here I have only filtered the thumbnail part, and then this is where the magic prop is happening mostly, right? So this is the prompt that anyone would have to carefully go through and again, iterate it with Claude or ChatGPT, whatever tool you are using, in order to fine tune this for yourself. And I'll show you like in this user prompt, all we are doing is just inputting what we have got the output of, right? So in the previous node, we got the description, the title, the core promise, the tools, the video, the additional context. So all that we are basically putting over here as input. So the user prompt is like very, very basic, just inputs. This is where the director prompt, I call it, is there. The This is basically designing your workflow as a director, right? So how it is doing, it is going to analyze the video topic, determine three thumbnail concepts. So it is going to understand or in its own processing going to produce three thumbnail concepts and going to identify which is the highest CTR potential. Then it is going to select a pose, write a detailed image generation prompt, because so far we have only synthesized the information from our transcript of the video. We have not yet created the image prompt for the image model, which could be like ideogram, which could be which could be Google Nano Banana Pro. That's what I'm using for my all workflows. So any image model you can use that takes input the I would say reference images. For example, I would want to have my own image in my thumbnail. So that is very key to selecting any kind of model. So it is going to write a detailed image generation prompt and output a JSON structure of it so that we can use it in a JSON format way. So here I have started creating the brand rules, right? The color lighting, what I want, the composition. So composition is very critical because here I am saying that layer one is a flat, abstract, technical pattern of SaaS UI. Layer two is like subject, which is right 80%, which is me. And layer three is basically floating elements, 3D icons and all. Layer four is text. So here I'm providing all these details. Excuse me. And then there are these visual elements. I'm talking about the typography. And again, always positive, confident expression should be there. These are some of the expression that can be avoided or can be used. Output format should be like this, and this is like the image prompt. So this is something that needs to be fine tuned as per what kind of thumbnails that you like, right? Again,
Yeah.
it is based on um I would say best practices. And at the top, like we said, AI is going to like create a multiple or at least three thumbnail concepts and rate them and provide us the highest CTR potential output. So for our task, what it has done is it is telling us thumbnail concept should be a visual flow showing a glossy 3D terminal icon representing cloud code, and connecting via some glowing 3D arrow logo. So the concept, and this is like the full prompt that it has provided us. So this is where the main thumbnail prompt is getting created, which I would be doing manually earlier, right? In my manual days, I would be doing this manually, and I would be going back and forth with the model that this is not going to work. Can you think of another way? So that kind of manual work was already there in my earlier life, which is not anymore, right? And at the end, what happens is like, let's suppose I don't like what it has produced. I just have to click one more time, right? It would again like go through the entire process, think about three different scenarios probably, and come up with a different thumbnail, right? So that's not like I won't say like I have seen a lot of difference in different thumbnails, but positioning, the how the way text looks or the title looks on the thumbnail, the resemblance of the character, sometimes it misses the character resemblance. So in that case, like I have to regenerate it so that like it makes me perfect over there, because it's like a very very I would say complex prompt. As you can see, like this is a whole complex prompt. All the things I have put in place in this so that the identity lock is there. And I'm going to show you like how further we strengthen the identity lock as well. But this is what it produces. So far, it's making
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely. Um, so you're gonna show me somewhere you have stored your image that you want it to use and the poses. Is that coming up?
Yes. So, yes. So this is where so we have generated the prompt now. So now comes the image pipeline, the last phase of our thing, which starts for over here, where what we are getting is like the avatar image. So if I open this, if you check this. So this is my avatar image that I'm using. Like, and
Okay.
it's not like it's not that I'm selecting a post file. It's like just this file, right? There is nothing else. What I have seen in my personal experiments, although like it picked up this file, but maybe like it's like referencing the wrong one. But what I have done is like I only provide the upper part so that the book is not there, right? So that it does not like confuse, right? So the accuracy started when I only provided my image. Better results came in without the destructive elements that are there, right? So I just input this one of the images, and then like there is this reference background. I don't think like it is like going to show better.
So
If,
so,
like
on the image, you're doing a transparent background, no background. You've removed the background from the image. That's the
yes,
best way to do it. Yeah. Okay.
yes, that's the best way, and better that there is no other distraction. Like I have a distraction over here of my book that I launched, but like
Yeah.
it's basically like a distraction for the model.
And your file format, is it PNG for the
Yes,
image?
yes, but you can like input JPG as well, as long as it's like a transparent background. I think it would.
Transparent background with JPEG would work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Transparent or like solid, right? So that like only
Yeah.
you are getting fetched out of it easily, right? And then what I do is like I have this background, that this is the background I want to use. It's like just an example purpose only, because like if you look at my Substack, that's where like majorly the background plays a role, because
Ah,
I
yeah.
only use like these backgrounds, like these two backgrounds only. So this is where majorly plays the role. But like something like this, you don't need to like send a background, because this is like a gradient which image model can also generate. But just for the example purpose that you can send more than one image, I have kept it into the pipeline for everyone, right? So now I have fetched the images. What you have to do is like this Google API, Google Nano Banana Pro API, is going to use a base 64 format. So this node basically helps you move file to base 64 string. So here we are getting a file, and then this node helps us convert this into base 64, and the output is like the same name. So you can see like this, weird characters over here coming. This is basically the file in base 64 format. So this is what gets as an input. So both the images have been converted into base 64 string. And now what I'm doing is, here I'm setting up the expectation. So this is my background image. So the text or background image like base64 string is stored in this one. Reference avatar is stored in this one. Now the image prompt, I'm fine tuning it further. So this is the image prompt that we got generated from the AI earlier. But then what I'm doing is, at the top and the bottom, I'm again reiterating or reinforcing my identity log, that image one is background, image two is my source subject, which is my identity anchor. And then again I'm telling it that, hey, you have to preserve the lock of your identity. Like, what happens is that, in general, as per studies, if you look at some of the people sharing as well, that the best practice is, if you have a very large prompt, the most important pieces you should always have at the top and the bottom as well,
Yeah.
so that the adherence of the specifications that you have in prompt are more followed by the model. So that's why I have like reiterated the identity lock here and here, because that's the most important thing. Otherwise, you will keep on generating the prompt. Right now, it misses like 1 out of 10 times. Probably it will start missing like 3 out of 10 times if you don't have these two details. That's what I figured out over a period of time as I kept learning. That's why I introduced this whole wrapper prompt kind of a mechanism. So this is more like a just a wrapper prompt that just reinforces those two things. And then this is the place where we are making the call. So you can see that I'm using this Gemini 3 Pro image. So this is like more Nano Banana Pro API call. And what I'm feeding is a JSON where text is like the entire string that we just created. This is my reference background image, and this is my reference avatar image. What I want is image, and in 16:9 aspect ratio. And finally, there's 1K. If 1K is like more than enough, you can like go for 2K, but it will cost you more. Otherwise, right now it costs me about 15 cents of for one generation. 15 to 18 cents is what I have seen it cost me. Although like it says like it costs 10 cents, but so far, I mean, at least number of images that I have generated and my Google bill for this API is around 15 to 18 cents in my experience. So once this is there, so it has generated the image, but like you can see, the output that it has generated is again in a um it is junk weird characters, which is like the base 64 image that has come out of it. So now we have to convert it back. So here I have an if node which says that if there is an image result exist, then we move forward. Otherwise, there is this false branch that I have reconnected back over here, so that it retries in case there is a failure, and then it tries to retry it again and again and again. But I think need to be beware that it can keep on retrying, um, and it can keep on increasing your cloud bill, right? So that's like something as a call you can take, whether you can click on twice or you are pretty confident with the workflow, you can let it go as well, right? Like I have done, right?
Oh, so
Finally,
you can designate the number of retries that it allows.
yes. So basically, if I open this and go to the settings, so over here, like I have defined max retries as 3.
Ah, okay. Got it.
And then like what I have is here what we are doing is just the opposite. So we got the result in base 64. Now we are converting into an image. So here the image is there, and as you can see, it has goofed up my resemblance over here, right? So what
Yeah.
I'm going to do is now, like, I'm going to basically again, like, we are going to, like, I'll recreate the image and then we'll see what the results come out. So once we have done that, then we are going to, like, upload the thumbnail. So this is where I'm uploading the thumbnail. This is like a Google Drive. So if I open up my YouTube thumbnails Google Drive over here, it would have uploaded this image. So you can see, like, it is totally wrong,
Oh,
the guy. But then, like, there is a terminal, there is a glowing, there is a Chrome, automate Chrome debugging. These are things that are there. But if you look at the other thumbnails that I have created, many of them, like, comes in, like, for example, in this one, it created more beard for me somehow. But then, like, all these thumbnails, these are, like, all created by this
okay.
Python itself. And so I
So
started using them.
so when you're going to rerun it, do you rerun it you don't rerun it from the beginning, you just rerun that loop, right?
No, like, I would rerun the entire thing again. So
Oh,
the
you
entire,
rerun the entire thing? Okay.
right. So the entire thing would get rerun again. Ideally, I would say, like, you can retry on this itself, like this whole loop you can rerun. But then, like, I executed the entire workflow. That's why, like, I'll have to basically go through it and run it again. So let's see,
So
like, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, how many tries does it usually take to get the one you want?
Usually, like, I mean, for me, it has always been, like, more or less accurate, I would say. Like I said, like, 9 out of 10 times it would generate the accurate image. But maybe, like, right now, this is like a new workflow, and I'm using this, different image. Maybe that's the cause. So that could be the possibility. But in general, what I have seen is, like, the workflow would basically get you 9 out of 10 times the exact image that you want. Like, at least your character reference is there.
Got it.
So let's try to run it again and see. And then, like, I think, like, what I'm also doing over here is, let me try and use the model as different. So right now I have, like, Gemini over here. Let me try and use, like, the Anthropic one. Okay, I'll use the Sonnet. So that also, like, in my current pipeline, everything is running through Claude. So basically, like, Gemini does not get used in it. So maybe, like, that could be, like, you can see if that could be a reason or not.
I see.
Like, from the accuracy standpoint, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. So let's try to run it with it, and let me execute this there. Oops. Now what happened? Okay. I'm sorry. I think I may not have, like, all the right now the credits to it. So let's run with the Gemini.
Okay. So you make this look so easy, and for me, this is not easy.
Yeah, you need to just get used of it. But then, like I said, you can, like, literally follow what I said, right? So because it's, like, visual, I could explain it from over here. But same
Yeah.
thing, if I have to explain it using Claude Code, it would be, like, very difficult, because I'll be showing, like, the code that is written behind the scenes, what is happening. So you need to have, like, little more technical knowledge to understand what Claude does. Of course, like, it can create the application for you itself, that you don't care about what has been written behind the scenes. But this is very, like, very visual. So I think that's
Yeah.
a fair advantage that is due to any. I mean, due to any 10, uh, people can visually see who are not technical. But of course, there is a learning curve to it as well. So you need to go through that learning curve, and then only basically you would be able to make it look that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you go through the basics, for example, like, if you understand the basics of an A10 and somebody provides you this kind of, like, for example, we can provide this workflow. Once the workflow is there, you just need to import it and make some tweaks to it, and then get it up and running in, like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so.
Sure. And then can you replicate this in Claude Cowork?
You can replicate. I have not started using Claude Cowork yet, but if I go to my, let's suppose, Claude Code, right? So you can replicate this kind of scenario in Claude Code, and let me show you that as well, so that like you can get an understanding of what we can do as a Claude skill, right? So if I let's open that project. I think it might take a little. I need few minutes to open that project. Uh, okay, new window, and then we go here. I think for Claude, you can use like I've created like a skill now that helps me basically just generate the image for it.
Ah, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, let me go
So
to.
how are we done generating that
No,
last
I think
image?
I refreshed it, so I have
Okay.
stopped. Just give me 1 second. I'll just open that. All right, I'll just in the meanwhile it was erroring out, so let me just rerun this again. And meanwhile, like as it runs, I'll show you what I have. So, from the Claude perspective, what you can do is you can go ahead and create something like a skill, right? So,
Mm,
skill perspective, what you would have to do is, like, for example, character reference that you have to build. So, here you can drop the character reference. So, I'll show you like the skill that I have for Substack cover, for example, right? So, that has like the code as well. So, if I look at this one, yeah. So here, this is like a generate cover py file, which is like a Python file. It is going to use that. And um, if I look at the skill file, so what you would end up doing is you would end up creating a, let's suppose, Substack cover skill. Similarly, for the YouTube thumbnail, I have this skill which is like YT thumbnail, right? Generate YouTube thumbnails with brand consistent styling, character consistency. Use the skill, right? So here we have just defined the entire skill, right? And we are saying that I want to like use Google Gemini Pro. So this is the model that I want to use. But what happens in this is like behind the scenes, it is going to use a Python script, right? So, and
yeah,
it is defined over here, right? So when I say like all these things are defined, yes, these are defined. And then it says that, okay, YT thumbnail, Claude AI automation tutorial. If I write this, then it is going to produce me an image that is basically, having Claude AI automation tutorial, right? And then like I can provide all these details as well. Like for example, like headline should be 10 hours saved, output should be thumbnail like saved over here. So it is going to basically help me generate that. So for example, like if I go ahead and just run this, okay, sorry, I have to first start the Claude. So once I start the Claude, hopefully it should help me generate this. So let's try this and see. Okay, it has found the YT thumbnail. So you can see that it has loaded the YT thumbnail skill. Now it is running, and then like it's saying 9 and 10 workflow guide. I have not provided it like enough information right now, but if you provide it with the information that, hey, use my N8N workflow, or sorry, use my YT thumbnails skill, and give me a thumbnail for this particular script that I have saved in this folder, right? And you give
yeah,
the script path or transcript path, then it is going to read that, like this whole transcript is going to read, sorry, this skill is going to read that and going to output the thumbnail for you.
nice.
So now you can see that it is saying that thumbnail has been generated and saved to thumbnail.png. So it has generated over here. So now you can see that
Ah,
character
okay.
is much more resemblance to me, right? And it's like going through, and it has changed. You can see like it has like bold theme. These are there, and behind the scenes as well. Like we have told it in the skill itself that you have to use some abstract diagram like showing node connection because it is n8n, and then use my image, right? So that's how like it has created behind the scenes as a skill, right? And we did not provide it much context. We just said like I want like an n8n tutorial thing. But if you
Yeah.
provide with more information like the entire context of our transcript, for example, if I had this setup here, I would have created it using it, then it would have been much more accurate. So that way is like the skill, that's what I have started using these days, behind the scenes, because now it is integrated locally on my machine instead of n8n. So that also helps. The way it is structured is that you basically go ahead and define all the skill over here, and Claude itself can help you create the skill document file, right? So all these things, like you can see the brand colors and all, I have defined it over here. And then once you, and these are the poses that I have defined: pointing, presenting, thumbs up, stop, confident teaching, right? And then like skill automatically, how auto applying is happening, some prompt tips. And at the bottom, what it also like, how it is instructing it is, these are all the text, which is like the system prompt that we were seeing in N8N, right? But behind the scenes, it is using this generate thumbnail Python file that it had created, and it is using this Python file in order to make the call to Nano Banana Pro. So all the
Yeah.
configuration is over here, the model, how to make it call. So it's like a combination of both uh, your markdown file, which is plain English, which is your system prompt that gets saved in your Claude skills directory, and then the Claude skill directory is using generate thumbnail Python file, and the asset is basically your character reference where you can put the character. So because I had put the character in my global directory, that's why it was able to generate this thumbnail for us using the Claude skill. And
Amazing.
go back, so
Yeah,
that uh,
this can be a lesson for another day.
yes, how to create it, definitely. Let's go back and see.
You also provided a skill for me, which, to be honest, I couldn't figure out what to do with it.
So this time, yeah, I will
Ah,
like we'll go back and see, but this time it generated the right
it
so
did.
this was the previous one, but then like as we regenerated it, you can see like now generate mock data. So this like showing the mock data, yellow icon, and then like N8N logo as well. So if I go back to the workflow, and like just open up, like probably I think this one. This was the node, and we converted it here. No, I know like I'm clicking a lot, but yeah, so you can see like this is the one that I was showing from the thumbnail folder that was uploaded. So like we just ran it again, and it produced the right result. But I think like more is towards the accuracy. But if you look at the thumbnail that I generated using the Claude skill, it generated for the first time. I think it's more to do with like what kind of image do you have. I know like with this book image of mine, sometimes it produces less accurate results, while like when I have like just my face, then it produces more accurate image. So that way,
Yeah,
still like for me it's just running it, and for me it is like very much embedded into my entire content OS. So I don't even have to click it, everything is like automated and it keeps on running. If I don't like it, I just ask it to regenerate the thumbnail.
great. Okay, so we're going to share this with our audience. And since we're in recording studio right now, we're going to have to create a post and share the video and the link or the automation itself.
Okay, sure, that
What do you think?
will be fine.
Yeah.
Be fine, yeah. I'll be like
Awesome.
a good value add for anyone who is watching. And I mean, if they are already on an A10, they can like straight away start using it to
Yeah.
generate.
And
Um,
Diraj, you're like the N8N king. So we want to just let people know that they can go and get all the lessons from beginner to advanced on N8N on your YouTube channel.
yes, yes. And I've like put some notes and all on the Substack. So pretty easy. It's totally free. Anybody can learn anytime from scratch
Yeah.
to the expert level.
Yeah. And I'm Carrie and I'm, the founder of 9 to Thrive, but what I'm trying to do is help solo creators keep up with all the technology changes and automate more as the changes occur because, I mean, so many tasks to do in a week. You have to decide what you can automate, what you can delegate, and what you have to do yourself.
Right.
So, we're talking about automation here for a few sessions, and we're going to figure out how to help creators automate more so that it frees up their time to do other things. So
Absolutely.
that's the goal. Um, we're going to end this video, I guess, but would you like to join back again with me and
Sure.
we can maybe talk about doing a setup on the one that you sent me?
Sure. Sure. Sure.
That'll be fun.
But
Okay.
all right.
All right. I'm going to stop our recording and it looks like I just have to end this. So if I lose you, see
Sure.
you soon. Come back.
Yeah.
All right.